Hello YouTube, hi everybody. I'm trying this again for the third time because I'm bad at intros. Yeah, it's because there isn't a game that's worse than B tier. Anyway, without further ado, we're gonna get started on the Metroid tier list, and we're just gonna go in order, starting with Zero Mission. And Zero Mission is a very powerful entry because it's literally a remake of Metroid 1. Okay. With the addition of all of the new, like, the current as of the time stuff, it makes playing the original Metroid a lot more fun. And with the addition of the afterwards, after you beat Mother Brain, the stealth section, I like the stealth section. But I'm gonna tell you right now, solid A rank. There's no reason why it shouldn't be any lower. Should it be higher? Probably, yeah, but nah, S tier. I'm more than willing to go back to it. And you know, I said we'd go in order, but I'm gonna ignore Super Metroid for now and leave that one for last because that's probably the one everyone's most interested in. Metroid Prime Hunter goes in B. My hand hurts tier because the controls are garbage. They're really, really bad. Even if, because you got the stylus, right, and you have to use that to move your things or look around. Sucks. It's garbage. I hate it. Of course I gotta keep the viewers on edge. If you do the face buttons, because that is an option, it just feels really bad to play, and I do not like it at all. So in my playthrough of Metroid Prime Hunters, I had to take a break every hour for like an entire day because my wrists hurt because I'm an old man. So B, hand hurts tier. That's where it's staying. Metroid 2 Return of Samus, old version. Because there's a remake. Although, for both Metroid and Metroid 2, I'd put Metroid 2 over OG Metroid, because Metroid 2 improved upon the formula of the first game, had some things it needed. Neither game has a map, or Metroid 2 specifically doesn't have any way to know if you're close to a Metroid, but is actually kind of cool in that way, because when you find a Metroid, it's literally a jump scare. Because you're like, oh shit, I'm about to die, that kind of thing. Which I think's really neat. Speaking of Metroids, I got one right here. Anyways, chills on my monitor, and I love it. Play these games. If you really want to see where the series started, I'd say play them, but have a map. Yeah, not a cheap jump scare. I would definitely recommend playing Metroid, OG Metroid and OG Metroid 2 with a map, like to the side. Not a guide or a walkthrough, but just a map to help keep track of where you're going, unless you like to just wander around aimlessly. I'm okay with that. I don't mind wandering around aimlessly sometimes, but sometimes it's nice to have a little help. Alright, next up is Federation Force. And I know what people are gonna say. You like Federation Force? A little bit. It's solid B tier. It's not as bad as everyone says it is. And I think a lot of the reason why it gets a lot of hate is because it came out during a lull between Other M and Metroid Prime 4 being announced. So a lot of people were very already hurt about that because, oh, it's a multiplayer game and Samus isn't in it, and it's a Metroid game. That's unfortunate. Which, yeah, I'll admit at first I was pretty upset about it, and then I played it. It's actually not bad, especially with friends, but that's not an excuse. If the game doesn't hold up by itself, it doesn't really matter, but they try to alleviate it by giving you a chip, because you pilot a mech in that game. They give you a lone wolf chip, which doubles your damage and halves your damage and how much damage you take, which is nice. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's really, really nice. So it actually doesn't feel that bad. However, some of the puzzles seem more oriented towards 2 to 4 players, even though everything is doable solo, just a little repetitive. It still gets a B tier because I genuinely had fun with the game. And I think I'm gonna go out of order again, and I'm gonna take Prime Pinball, and it's just gonna go in B tier. I'm not good at pinball, but I had a ton of fun with Metroid Prime Pinball for some reason. It basically retells and revisits a lot of areas from Prime 1, which is nice. I like it a lot. But yeah, it's just pinball, both Metroid aesthetic, and that makes it really, really cool, not gonna lie. Next up is, I'm just gonna tackle the Prime series. I'm gonna leave Fusion, Other M, and Super Metroid for last. So I'm gonna tackle the Prime series next. Without question, I say without question, but the Prime series is a special favorite of mine because that's where I started the Prime series, or the Metroid series in general. Because I got a GameCube. My grandfather got a GameCube for the family back in the day. And we actually got... We had a GameCube before that, but he bought another GameCube for himself that he never used. And it was a special edition that had Metroid Prime boxed with it. I wish I would have kept that. I'm not gonna lie to you, I really wish I would have kept it. But I don't know where it went after he died. I have no idea where it went. My brother might have it, I'll have to ask him later, but I'm not worried about it right now. Anyway, Prime Trilogy is a little harder to gauge because I have a lot of nostalgia for Prime 1. And I'm gonna preface this before I put them in tiers. I recently played through all three of them on Prime Hack on Dolphin, which allowed me to use mouse and keyboard controls. And let me tell you, that made the games more fun to play, in my opinion, because they played more like an actual first-person shooter instead of the weird controls that you had on the GameCube. So I'm gonna base this on Prime Hack rather than their OG counterparts, which honestly I should. But if I'm going OG counterparts, I'd say I would put Prime here, I would put Prime 2 here, and I would put Prime 3 up there. If we're going by OG. If we're going by Prime Hack, straight up, like, Prime Hack makes the game so much better if you have a system that is good enough to run them all with minimal stutters. I did have issues with some stuttering, a little bit, but not a lot, and it didn't ruin the game for me. But this order right here, hands down, actually, honestly, all three of these are interchangeable. These three are not in any order at all, but Zero Mission can stay where it's at. I like Zero Mission more than the Prime series, despite the other stuff. All right, Samus Returns, A tier. A lot of people I know didn't like this one all too much, and I'm getting a phone call. I'm in the... Okay, I'm back. Hi. Anyway, Samus Returns in A tier, the remake. There are some people that really did not like the controls or the fact that it replaced AM2R, which I'm like, I don't know about that one. I think it's fine the way it is. I like the controls. It's made by Mercury Steam, which are the same people who are making Metroid Dread. So I specifically decided to play Metroid Samus Returns, one, because similar gameplay, and two, I actually have a 3DS capture card, so I could. So I played it on stream. It was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed myself immensely. The controls, like I said, I liked a lot. The free aiming, I really liked. The downsides to it, not a lot of enemy variety. Like, you gotta kill 40 Metroids for the bosses, and there's a couple of extra bosses in there that are kind of cool. Except for that stupid robot boss. That robot boss can go die in a fire as far as I'm concerned. But I still think it's pretty neat. As for Fusion, it's hands down the best Metroid game. Hands down, in my opinion. Very colorful. It uses every aspect of the Game Boy nearly perfectly, in my opinion. Just the pure atmosphere in this game, the SAX specifically, was used so well throughout that game. It might be linear to some people, but anything on this list that says Metroid is a Metroid game. I don't care what anyone says. Straight up. There's no reason to, say, throw Federation Force out on the street because most of the internet didn't like it. Honestly, a lot of people didn't like Federation Force. It only sold 50k units-ish. We'll make it 50k in one because I bought a copy, specifically just play it. Anyways, Fusion. Great freaking game. Came out around the same time as Prime, even had interconnectivity between the two games, which is great. Good. It might be one of the most linear mainline 2D Metroid games, but I don't care. It makes for a good randomizer, which I'm looking forward to actually being able to play at some point. Because I've been watching people play it, and it looks super fun. I'm super stoked for it. And speaking of fusion music, by the way, also gonna preface this before I continue. All of the music from all of the games is good. Just straight up. All of it's good, including Federation Force. It's got some bops. It really does. Anyway, now for the two everyone's most interested in. Metroid Other M. I'll start with Metroid Other M. Metroid Other M gets an A. Above Samus Returns. Now, let me explain before I get murdered. I mean, I was probably gonna get murdered over Federation Force being in B tier, not throw it in the trash tier. But Metroid Other M plays very, very well. Yes, above Samus Returns. I enjoyed Other M more than I enjoyed Samus Returns, and I enjoyed that game a lot. Metroid Other M plays extremely well. It still looks good for a Wii game. Like, if I was able to emulate it and put it in, like, 1080p, that game would look so fine. Wait, what? Metroid Mania alternate version. Huh, anyway. Other M. The story is weird. A little sexist. Maybe. Yeah, it's definitely a little sexist in some parts. And I can understand why they wrote it the way they wrote it. I just wish they didn't write it the way they wrote it. So, some people argue that it makes no sense for Samus to go to a place like this and be told that she can't use her weapons because she's a bounty hunter or a mercenary. Think about it like this. The Federation is basically the police of the galaxy, right? So it kind of makes sense in that way. Samus might be a bounty hunter, but she still has to kind of abide by the laws of the universe if the Federation is involved. That makes sense to me, anyways. So if the Federation got there first, so they have their stuff set up and they're going through their own thing. So when Samus gets there, her old CO, Adam, is like, hey, I understand you're doing what you're doing, but you gotta follow this as if you're part of the Federation again. It sucks, yes, so you can't use some of your shit, and I understand that. But there's just some things you can't do. Like the power bomb, I totally understand. Power bomb would literally vaporize everyone on that entire thing if she wanted to do that. But by the end of the game, everyone's fucking dead, so who cares? And you're not even authorized to use the power bomb until, like, the ass end of the game anyways. Which, because no one's there anymore, so it makes sense. But, for all of the issues the story has up until that point, I think it makes a little bit of sense. Samus's characterization and how monotone her delivery is, I can almost understand. She was loaded full of PTSD by the age of 3 because her parents were killed by Ridley and a bunch of people she knew died, and then she was raised by the Chozo. And based on what we know of the Chozo, well, they're definitely not the best parents, you see. Yeah, the first final boss is when you get to use a power bomb and the game doesn't tell you you can use a power bomb, which caused me to die a lot, which really sucked. But I'm not gonna specifically move it under Samus Returns for that. Even though Samus Returns final boss I didn't know about the powerbomb thing for the Queen Metroid, it doesn't matter. Anyways. I died a lot because of that. But the relationship between Samus and Adam I can kind of understand. Because Adam seemed like a father figure to Samus rather than a CO. Which I suppose kind of makes sense, so they respected each other in that way. But they made Samus be a bit more on the side of daddy issues rather than, hey, we respect each other. And then near the end of Other M, it's Adam shoots Samus and stuns her, and then goes off and dies. For trying to murder the Metroids. He probably died in 1 second, but, you know. Other M. Yeah. Other M, I knew about that already because I played Samus Returns first. But I didn't know about the thing for Samus Returns for the OG game. Because I played the OG game after I played Samus Returns, which was probably a dumb idea now that I think about it, but still. Anyway, back to Other M, because I keep going off on tangents, which is why I'd prefer to do this live instead of a script, because I wrote a script and it's very static. Like, it literally sounds like a video essay, which is not what I wanted, but that's how it sounded, which is why I'm doing it live instead. Other M. Where was I? Power bombs. Or the relationship between Adam and Samus. So, like I said, Adam leaves because he doesn't want Samus going into the Metroid area. Or, now that I think about it, decent reason. Because as soon as something happens in there, it detaches itself and then explodes. So I guess it kind of makes sense why he wouldn't want Samus to do it, but Samus probably could have pulled it off. Let's be real here. She's escaped from much worse than that by the time Other M happens. But I'm not here to argue that because it's already written. Would it be better if it was changed? Absolutely. Does it matter? No. No, it doesn't matter. It's all canon anyways. Whether you like it or not, it is canon. Unfortunately. Anyway, Other M, like I said, I genuinely enjoyed it despite the story, but there's still parts of the story I liked, like finding out how Ridley is made, or how Ridley evolves. That was really interesting. And like I said, the combat was cool, the enemy designs were pretty cool, and I actually kind of liked a lot of the power-ups, and seeing their take on or Ninja Theory's take on what the Shine Spark would be in 3D is kind of cool. Yeah, it starts out like a weird little bunny thing with teeth, and then it morphs into like a weird, like, hybrid of, like, Ridley with, like, the sharp tail and, like, the bunny thing. And then it evolves again into Ridley, and it's like, okay, that's kind of sick. Not gonna lie, Ridley is a Pokemon now, kind of thing. What is this music? Metroid Mania with Rain. Why is this on? You know what? Doesn't actually, no, it does matter. Hold on. Gonna have to edit this part of the video out, I think. Okay, anyway, continue. Super Metroid, I think, is where we're gonna go now. And this is gonna be the most interesting place, because a lot of people will put Super Metroid as the top #1 game. I disagree. And I'm not saying this because I had issues with the game. I had a few issues with the game personally, like it being the only Metroid game with an actual run button, which I admit I pulled an Aaron Hansen and I did not check all the buttons on the controller beforehand, which is my bad. Also, why add a run button when the previous I'm okay. Minor rant aside, that's on me. Like I said, that's 100% my fault. I did not grow up with this game. I literally played this game for the first time a few months ago when I was doing the whole Metroid thing. So my experience is relatively new, and I gotta say I enjoyed it because we're on SNES and have many buttons. You're right, you're right. Why are we back in? Oh, game over. Okay, it's fine. Anyways, this solidly goes above Other M in the A tier. Now, like I said, I did not grow up with this game. It's brand new to me. I played through it a little bit. These placements may change very, very much once I play through them again. Oh, thank you for the sub. I don't know why I have that. I thought I disabled that so it shouldn't show up, and I don't have a custom thing for it, but it doesn't matter. Thank you for subbing. You did no such thing. I don't know about that one. It's fine. It doesn't matter. Anyways, Super Metroid is a very, 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 very good Metroid game. Do I think it's better than the 5 I have in S tier? Not necessarily. As of my first time playing through it. I might change my mind when I play through it again and I get a little bit better at the controls. So, like I said, all these games have the possibility of changing after Dread. I don't know why the alert showed up either. Alerts are weird. But know that the gap between Super Metroid and Metroid Other M is actually decently big. However, like I said, it's still a very, very well-made game. Being able to sequence break as much as you can in that game is very good. Having the some of the wildlife in the game show you how to do like the shine spark or the wall jumps is really neat. A lot of the bosses are cool, very well designed, in my opinion. Although that Ridley battle could be a little better in my opinion. Not Ridley 1, Ridley 2. The one where he actually murdered Ridley. That one could have been a little bit better in my opinion. A lot of random hits. Maybe not necessarily random, but like, he's on you, which is a little overwhelming for someone who's playing for the first time, but I understand why it's there. And I think it's kind of neat. It fits Ridley. It does fit Ridley pretty well, so it works out pretty good. Anyway, I don't have much else to say right now, but this is my current, as of 2019, and by 2019, as of 2021, March 24th, a little bit before Metroid Dread comes out, tier list. As far as I know, some of these will change, some of them won't, like Prime Hunters, OG games, those ain't gonna move. Did I say March? I meant September. I'm dumb. Listen, I'm really dumb. I'm not the smartest person. I'm not the coolest person either, but I do things. And sometimes I'm really tired, like I am today. I'm surprised I hobbled my way through this. Like I said, tier list, likely to change with the addition of Dread. Based on what I've seen, and with all the hype, it's gonna go above Fusion. But we'll see if that's actually true. Just pretend Dread is like... Dread is the S in S tier right now. So that's because of all the hype and the expectations, and I need to lower my expectations just in case. I don't think it'll be bad. It'll definitely be I'm hoping it'll definitely be better than Samus Returns, I can tell you that right now. It'll also probably be better than Other M. So it's fighting for Super Metroid and above. Anyways, that'll be it for all my stuff. For future reference, if my editor or me is editing this, the subscribe thing will be right, I don't know, here, there-ish, maybe, or up there, somewhere in the corner. And, yeah, I really hate telling people to like and subscribe, but it's kind of the thing that YouTube does. It actually might have already happened near the beginning of this, but that's okay. But that'll be it. Thank you very much, everybody, for chilling. And goodbye to YouTube, everybody. Or say goodbye to YouTube, everybody. And by everyone, I mean Snivy, as far as I know. But yeah, goodbye, YouTube. I'll see you in the next video, whenever that may be. Officially. Might be a Zelda tier list. Actually, Zelda tier list sounds kind of fun. I'll probably do that. Goodbye, YouTube. Look forward to other VODs and or clips coming your way eventually. Bye-bye, everybody.